Now we've just finished making this large daisy beaded barefoot sandal, and I'm just going to show you another alternative. Okay, so to make this daisy chain barefoot sandal, we're going to need 1.5 meters or so of fishing line. You'll also need a clasp of your choice and beads of your choice. I'm using size 10 seed beads in white, an orange, and a green. So before we start, if you haven't already, I suggest you watch my videos on how to make the large daisy and how to do the basics of a barefoot sandal, just so that you can get an idea of how to create your own sandal size. Take your fishing line, one end in each hand, and on one end you're going to thread enough green beads for your toe part of your sandal, and you're just going to let that fall to the middle, just like that. Next, you want one white bead on one side of your fishing line, and then take the other and you're going to thread it back through, just like we've done in all the previous videos. Okay, so just take those two short ends and pull. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to do one large daisy, just like this. So just click the link and watch the video on how to make a large daisy chain. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this. Now, this is where it's going to vary. So if you look at this one, so if we look at this up against a ruler, so for this I needed 8.5 centimeters for my pattern. So to figure out how many green beads, you're going to need to make sure that you've measured your foot, and each of these daisies is equal to about 2 centimeters. So to make up the 8.5, I have 3 daisies, so 2, 4, 6 centimeters. So that leaves me with 2.5 centimeters left that I need to fill in between these. So what I did was I did 1 centimeter of green in between my flowers, plus 0.5 centimeter here at the end of this daisy before my ankle part. So for my beads, when I measured out about 1 centimeter, it equaled 8 green beads for me. So you may need more or less green beads depending on your beads and how long your foot is. So take those green beads and you're going to do, so I have 8 green beads, and you can do the same thing to the other side. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start another flower. So now you need 1 white bead to seal it off. Just go back through with the other end like you did before for the other one. There you go. So do 1 more flower and then another set of green just like you did, and then another flower, and I'll meet you back here. Okay. So now that you have something that looks like this, we need to do that last little 0.5 centimeter to make what I needed for my foot. And so because this is 1 centimeter and it was 8 green beads, so 0.5 centimeter for me is going to be 4 green beads. So I'm just going to thread 4 green beads on one side and then the same thing on the other side. Now what we want is to take 1 green bead and just thread it onto one end of your fishing line. So take the other side of your fishing line and put it through, just like we did before for the flower, and just pull. And that's going to secure that circle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to thread on enough green beads on both sides of your fishing line. Now remember, what you do to one side, you're going to want to do to the other. You want to make this anklet part. Okay? So do that, and then I'll meet you back. So once you have the length that you need to make your anklet, what you're going to do is you're going to take one end of your fishing line to start with. Make sure your beads are up tight against your sandal. Now take one end of your clasp, take one end of your fishing line, and you're going to thread it through and just let it fall down to your beads. Now you're going to tie a knot. Make sure your beads stay snug up against your sandal. Okay. So I'm just going to thread mine through. Okay, so I have a knot, just a regular knot, and I'm just going to pull my thread slowly so that my bead stays snug and I don't lose the tightness, because you don't want your beads loose and flopping around. So now there's my base knot. So tie another couple more, however many you want. Just make sure it's nice and secure. Now what you're going to do is you're going to hold your beadwork. So take your fishing line now, still working with the same piece, and you're going to thread it back up through your work. About a half an inch to an inch, or longer if you want. But a half an inch to an inch is perfectly fine. See where it's coming out? Just pull tight. Now, if you pull on this, so pinch these beads and then pull on this end of the fishing line, and if your knot's not too big, I don't know if you can see it, but if you pull gently without pulling too hard, because remember your fishing line's only about 5 pounds, so if you pull too tight it'll snap. But if your knot's not too big, I don't know if you saw it happen, but my knot actually got pulled up into that bead, so you can't even see my knot anymore, which is kind of a neat little trick. So just take your loose ends and cut them off. Careful not to cut your work. So cut that off, and then just repeat that on this side with the other side. So now you should have something like this with both sides attached to your clasp. And there you go.